since we have a smaller crowd, I'm not going to break you up into teams. We are actually going to do this brainstorming activity as one big entity. What I'd like to talk about, because we have some time, about 25 minutes before we have an open mic session, we are going to do a collective brainstorming on the problems that I've chosen as a part of our hub activities and Thai activities. So this one is specific to the hotel industry. As many of you know, we have larger and larger number of new hotels that are coming up. And one of the things that we have in the hotel industry is that people, younger people especially, but most people are looking at what are some solutions that are available, or everybody is more climate conscious. And in the hotel industry, one of the challenges that we have is that when guests come and they want to check in, they want to see how climate conscious is that particular hotel and what are the different things that that hotel is doing to make it more sustainable. So there are many different things that you can look at. You can look at renewable energy, you can look at conservation of water, and so many other things. What I'd like to concentrate on today is what can we do in terms of procuring local produce, helping local communities, so that the hotel that any hotel that is working on these, or anybody who's running the hotel, becomes more and more sustainable. Right? What can be done? So that's the challenge that is in front of all of you. Well, all of us. I am there, but given that I've got the advantage of coming up with this problem, or at least looking at this problem, I'm going to keep my mouth shut and allow everybody else an opportunity to participate. So the challenge, once again, you're all clear that what are the things that we can do for promoting produce, promoting goods, promoting things from the local communities, so that your procurement is local, and therefore there are advantages of that. For some of you who are already aware, maybe you can actually give some inputs. Why local and not something which is far away? Why is local better?
Because of the logistics that include, like if it's coming from far, like it's imported from somewhere, carbon footprints are more, like a lot of pollution.
So local means Vizag or Andhra Pradesh?
You will decide. The closer it is to the place where we can imagine the hotel to be Vizag, we can imagine it to be Kakinada, we can imagine it to be.
No sir, if it is in Vizag, I have
Let's
to
talk
procure
Vizag.
I have to procure only from
Just for keeping
Vizag.
the problem simple. Sorry, you were also going to add.
No, I just said reducing the carbon footprint.
Okay. So everybody is clear, right? That it's all about reducing the carbon footprint. If I'm able to procure something from, if I'm able to go to a store and buy something from the store next door, it's obviously a lot better than if I have to go a kilometer or 5 kilometers, meaning that I have to use a vehicle, I have to fuel consumption, and the vehicle manufacturing again makes a lot of difference, lots of parts. You understand? Go ahead.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Alright. So my question is carbon footprint the only factor that we want to look at?
That is just one example. But we are looking at primarily the idea that it needs to be sustainable.
So maybe the first thing we need to think about is other parameters which need to be optimized, right? Like sustainability parameters. Like carbon footprint is a simple one.
Absolutely.
Maybe there are more. So you said conservation of water, that's another one.
Yeah.
Going paperless.
Okay. Those are different things that you can look at.
The
Renewable
problem
energy,
statement
paper.
is exclusively for food, right?
No, not
This is-
anything that the hotel uses and provides as a service to the guests, sometimes to or a product or a service, right? So, what are some things that hotels provide?
So trade is the basic commodity for hotel industry. Like if we start a hotel and we have to buy ACs and cots and everything, we get it from China. Because if we buy it local, one cot is 25,000. If we get it from China, it's 10,000. And same with the food industry. Tissue papers, we get it from Gujarat. And packaging, we get it from Gujarat. So we have to procure local. We can only do that in farming goods. And even that, they are not. Everything is not available in Vizag itself.
Well, I pose a counter question, right? Only because I want to, one, you're looking at, okay, how can this problem not, well, this is not the right problem, or rather, sorry, the solution that you're looking for is not as good as what is already existing.
No, sir. You said the hotel should sustain, right?
Should be sustainable.
Yeah. So it should have profits also. So
Yeah.
it have to run.
But sustainability here is not about the hotel being sustainable, being profitable. It obviously has to be profitable.
Yes, sir.
I completely agree. But
But is
while
it-
you're doing that,
Is it 1000% profitable or 999%?
yeah, exactly. So again, just for making sure that everybody understands, right, and all of us collectively learn together, what are some of the things that the hotel provides to guests?
You should get whiteboards.
I know, unfortunately, we don't have that.
Accommodation and food,
Okay,
broadly speaking.
okay,
So both aspects we can look at.
very good. So in the accommodation,
So as a hotel, it requires electricity, food, water. So these are few things. Like there are many things, but as if this is the case, one thing is like they can find a solar and build kind of thing to generate their own electricity, so that it may reduce the carbon. That is one. So what
And
kind of-
they can invest in local power generation because
yeah.
don't invest somewhere in Gujarat. Pay over here, hire the people.
So,
I'm joking.
So like either they cannot completely entirely depend upon their own generation, they can start making their own generation.
Again,
but
but
for a price-conscious consumer, they wouldn't really look at
So
how,
solar power-
how much they want it at a certain price that is competitive price.
absolutely.
So
how
for
do
them-
we? So how do we do that? But before you go back again to expanding it to what he's doing, I don't want it to be 6 or 10 different things because there are 20 people in the room right now. And if you look at a much larger problem, we're going to have, we're going to go everywhere. So I want to concentrate on how do we help local communities and how do we help local communities and source locally so that the hotels are a little bit more sustainable. Their practices are more sustainable.
So, are we talking about like 2-star hotels, 3-star hotels, 4-star hotels, 5?
You decide which one.
No, I'm just asking because where is everybody leaning towards so we can decide on that one particular category.
Let's
It's
go
more
because you
practical
have.
for five-star hotel.
5-star hotel.
It's more practical for a five-star hotel
Okay,
because
let's
somebody
go with the
Because they
5-star.
actually
they
might
have
give,
the money
yeah.
to spare and you know
5-star hotel. So next thing I guess people need to clarify on, do you want to do for like stay, food or accommodation? Which one? Like number of
Actually,
nights?
both. Because I want it to be, as long as you are procuring locally, you can do anything which is related
In
to
terms of
accommodation.
food, I think we want it to be sourced locally. Maybe I think in some Western countries, they're looking at hydroponics. So that they can grow some of the leafy vegetables and all local, someone who is interested, and they can get into a contract with them.
It's happening in Hyderabad.
It's happening in Hyderabad. It's happening in
Bangalore and Delhi, everywhere, but
Yeah.
Hyderabad vertical
so
farming.
water recycling is the major thing, sir. For
Again, you're
cleaning.
going back into other problems that are. I don't want to concentrate on recycling, renewable energy, all of local
Sourcing of-
communities, and how do we procure things that are produced locally.
so within food and community.
Terrace gardens is one thing.
Yeah.
So the locally urban communities nowadays are showing interest, like in Hyderabad. Maybe I think the Telangana government has incentivize the terrace gardening. Maybe the produce can be collected through some app and all that could be given to everybody. We can use technology so that the sourcing happens it could even be automated.
Okay.
And it could be priced well.
Okay.
So that way, win-win all for everyone. In terms of food, I think there are a lot of potential in this I see.
Okay. Just FYI, for those of you who are unaware, right here in Andhra University, there is an organization called Avani Organics. And Avani Organics has been given 1 acre of land very close to where we are, close to the right next to the psychology department, where they are growing organic vegetables and fruits and so on. They're starting with green leafy vegetables and other produce, and they're probably going to go to fruits also because they might be given a little bit more area to expand. So when you talk about local produce, the kitchen gardens or the terrace gardens is one option. Somebody like this Avani Organics and the hotel tying up with an organic produce organization can be something. There are people called farmer producer organizations, group called farmer producer organizations. So many of them in Andhra Pradesh itself, and Avani Organics happens to be one of them by the way. So you can probably work with them.
So I have a question. So have Avani Organics tried selling to a hotel?
Avani Organics, I believe, has right now is only doing retail. They have shops because right now they're concentrating on giving organic produce. I'm not their spokesperson.
No, I'm
Just
just
so
asking.
that just answering.
Yeah, it was just a question. Have they tried selling it to a hotel?
They have not, as far as I know, they have not, because whatever produce they have, they are actually providing this to retail customers. They have 5 stores in Andhra Pradesh, or rather 4 stores and 4 Vaitu Bazaars and Vizag, one in MVP, one at Sitampara and 2 other places. And they have 1 franchise in Srikakulam. They have 5 stores. The 4 stores have been given to them by the government of Andhra Pradesh or GVMC. And so they are working from there. When their volume increases or whenever they get to a stage where they can go to the providing produce to the hotels, they probably do it. It's a lot easier than selling to many people.
So, but also hotels have their own requirements, right? Tomorrow if a US delegate is coming, they might not want to cook what they would cook for an Indian guest. Or depending on their guest list, they would want to specialize, which if we are looking at a smaller, maybe company like Avani Organic, they might not have that produce at the required time.
Yeah, I believe they look at long-term contracts. They work with some people saying that I'm going to pay you this price, no matter the price.
The better solution would be to have like a big database of all these smaller units that are working on like routine agriculture or so. We can probably at least an option.
Technically, there are existing databases because anytime you need to get organic certification, you need to give it to the government. I can't remember which exact department, but that data exists. Whether we can access it or use it is a whole other story. Or you need to put the right RTI.
So for the local communities to thrive, we can give a certification. So suppose if my restaurant got a quotation from some Gujarat company, covers like 2 rupees and local guy is for 5 rupees. They have a ISO 9001-2000 certification. So we can give some local small certificate for them so they have a standard quality and they can easily thrive. In that way local communities can thrive.
Okay.
Whether in food supply or packaging supply
Okay.
or anything, manpower supply.
Okay.
I would like to add a point that we have to uplift the local communities also. Then we can, source the toilet soaps and the detergent from them, and we can ask them to make it organic. And if the soaps and detergents are a series of tests, then we can source them locally from them. It will be a win-win situation for both of us.
So the question is how does the business become sustainable? There's only one. So in the case of soaps and stuff, so the question is if I'm making soaps, am I selling enough volume for it to be sustainable as a financially sustainable?
Well, one of
financially
the
sustainable, it's environmentally sustainable.
No, but-
so let me stop you right there. I forgot to mention one of the rules of brainstorming. One of the biggest rules of brainstorming is you never question other people's ideas. You just take them down, and then afterwards you can fine tune them based on the priority and other things. It's not about saying that idea won't work and this idea won't work. It's more about actually saying, okay, what are the list of ideas that people are coming up with, and then afterwards you can always refine them, right? Because the minute you start, asking a counter question or saying, hey, that doesn't make sense, everybody else who's currently, right now there are 4 people who participate. Okay? And the 5th person who tried to participate, if I say something, now all the other 12 people who are sitting there listening are saying, okay, if I say something, I'm going to be questioned and therefore I can't participate. Better to be quiet and not be asked a question. Right? So, just a thing for everybody. You can go and mention your idea and you can mention any alternatives that you want, but one of the rules happens to be I cannot say no or that's not a good idea, I'm not going to put it on. Right? Which is why I told them, forget about Gujarat, forget about China. If you have to do it from Vizag, what can you do?
Sir, hotels shouldn't have their own laundries. Sir. They
Okay?
should give it out. So then another community can thrive. No machines in their own hotels.
That's a good idea. Why do they not give it out to local communities? Any idea?
Yes, sir. They can give another company can thrive.
No, why do they not give it?
Costing, sir.
All their quality requirements.
Per kg they will be charged 24 rupees. If they make it on their own machinery, if they give it out, it will be around 50 to 60 rupees per kg.
So it's about money, not quality.
Sustainability. Quality,
You're all, some of you at least are stuck on sustainability from a company, making money.
Finance point.
yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I
We
need
are
you to
into business, so
concentrate
we
on-
have to think.
I understand. But I need you to concentrate on what he mentioned. If
Environment.
you're making 1,000 rupees, can you still make 1,000 rupees profit? Can you do it with 990 rupees? And
Yes,
do
sir. These
something.
two things we can do. It won't burn much money in the
Okay.
Have to go only organic to start with.
No.
Not necessary.
Actually, the soap, he happened to have the idea and he mentioned good idea.
Produce also. It is a produce also.
Yeah.
You have to focus
I mean, none of the hotels are saying I'm 100% organic. None of the 5-star hotels are doing it. I feel that there is an opportunity for you to say that. However, there is a reason why they don't do it. But if Ravi was here, he would have told us that already. Satish probably would know about this. But he would say, look, I am going to look for what actually works. I'm not going to look for what people are imagining they want. A lot of us want to eat healthy. How many actually are? As simple as that.
But what that will happen, for not like 100% is not organic, but they can try to start, if they have some
Absolutely.
space, they can do it in there, we have seen in TV,
Got it.
Absolutely.
They started their own farm. They can just show their
They can do their own terrace gardens because they have a terrace that's open. Satish, should you have something coming? Raise your hand.
They can mandate having local dishes in their menu, maybe 2 per day or so, if not everything, so that there's an array of options that they can provide whilst.
I'm so glad you're bringing that up. I'm so tired of going to restaurants and having the same
It's the same
palak
menu
paneer,
everywhere.
palak paneer and the same dal, fry and the same 4 or 5 dishes. No matter which restaurant you go to, you have the exact same thing.
It's the same menu in every
Ah.
hotel.
Exactly. It's so tiring. That's why whenever something new comes up, there are like people jumping at it. 1 or 2 of these Pan-Asian ones came up, expensive, but people are flocking because I think there are options that are not available.
So, would it make sense to actually put a list of all the things which hotels do and
That's
think
what
about?
I was approaching. That's what I was trying earlier because he started with accommodation. And
Yeah, like just accommodation and cooking, right? So we can put a list of all the things which are connected with that.
It could also be services or entertainment, etc.
Agree.
Lights could be
Yeah.
involved.
But given that we have about 7 minutes left. I'm going to go up to 5:20 to 5:15.
And one more thing from government side, can they also start incentivizing hotels by in terms of carbon credits or at least rating kind of who is more greener? Like is something
That's a good idea.
It's already there.
I have my reason for the. All of you understand the reason why everybody else, including me, we are all smiling. They move so slow that it is a challenge, but that's a good idea. I mean, they should have been doing mandating purchase locally, which is what they tried with electronics. I don't know if you know, but about 2-3 months ago, our central government said no electronic devices or computers and related things from outside. Everything from local. And
Thank God we have big investments.
within 2 weeks, they changed it back and they said, okay, we're not going to do it. Luckily.
It's good to be strategic about it. You can't do blanket changes.
Yeah. So, coming back to the really good suggestion that you gave, what exactly do we need? Let's talk about accommodation. What exactly is required in accommodation? What do they do with accommodation? What do they provide guests when they talk about accommodation? Linens.
Furniture,
If the linen should go somewhere now.
The bed.
the blankets,
Beds. So therefore the mattresses, the
mattresses,
actual
pillows,
wooden or iron or whatever beds that are there, the pillows,
furniture, then what else?
interior, paintings, furniture. You can certainly encourage local painters to provide the paintings or whatever that are.
We have
with
like
hand.
50 paintings in my house. If somebody wants to buy them, we're ready to sell.
Sir, recently they
There is
opened
a.
Andhra
I have a
Hotel.
solution for you, but we'll do it in the last minute.
The Andhra Hotel, the complete local thing. They changed Palm Beach to Andhra Hotel. No, Andhra Hotel. Palm Beach is there, no? Amit Mirpuri changed Palm Beach to Andhra Hotel. They used complete produce from Andhra Pradesh.
So it's no longer Palm Beach Hotel.
It's not Palm Beach Hotel anymore. It's called as Andhra Hotel. The wood, they procure take instead of budget and everything. It's complete Andhra style. And even the linens and everything, kalamkari style, everything, it's complete local.
Wonderful.
Yeah, they did it. And for this procuring local also, they have standards. They have boards who can give star rating for that. Procuring local.
Great. So we have somebody doing this already. That's nice. So we've talked about the room itself, and every hotel room usually has AC of course, and yeah, the toilet, right? Bathroom. So in the bathroom, the shower curtains, maybe the bathtub, maybe the shower itself, maybe the
The
pipes
soap
and other
solution is
things.
also manufacturing locally. Soap solution these days it is manufacturing in Vizag only. For dishwashers, for bathrooms, for
Yeah.
everything.
So there are soaps that are given to guests. There is what else is given to guests? Toothbrush and toothpaste. So those can be done. So, yeah, towels and other things, right? Shaving kit for when they have an iron, I guess 5-star hotel. So iron and hangers. So the hangers can be something that they could procure locally. So when we came across about 8 years ago, we came across a startup that was somewhere towards Guntur or Vijayawada that was producing brushes, toothbrushes, combs, and primarily things with bristles on them. They were producing this from banana tree. The trunk and whatever is there. Other than the actual bananas, whenever you grow bananas, after you get the crop, they chop down the tree. Now that to a large extent is wasted. So these people have produced a process. They come up with a process to process all of this material, and they're creating brushes, and they were giving it to hotels for making the hotels more sustainable. Instead of throwing away plastic, one-use plastic, you're actually throwing away things that are recyclable.
A Vizag based startup is doing that's a Go Green. They are producing pencils with waste newspapers, and they are supplying to hotels.
Yeah,
Pencils and notepads.
yeah. There are 2 or 3 in Vizag that are doing electronics also, procurement, waste, e-waste.
Waste.
Yeah, so like as you said, brushes instead of throwing, like same goes with the paint also, the tubes and all.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to get it. Now I recently read one thing like nowadays is like they're giving the waste tablets. So instead of waste tubes getting wasted in landfills, they can just do it and brush with the brush. So instead of wasting the, at least in the travels they can use it, so that they can avoid the large stuff of
That's wonderful.
so
That's
that
wonderful.
company hotels can implement that.
Okay. Anything else that you can think of?
Food waste to jails and orphanages.
Yeah,
They're doing abroad like once in an event or hotels, once the food is wasted,
Yeah.
they'll give it to jails
yeah.
and orphanages. Here it's not happening. And
Yeah.
fridges like
Somebody tried it a while back, about 10 years ago. There was something, or maybe 6 to 8 years ago, I'm not sure. There was food on wheels or some wheel something. That it was a truck that would collect the food from different functions
yes,
and then go distribute it to
they
different
came with the
places.
fridge concept. Whatever is left,
Yeah.
we have to keep it in the
Yeah,
fridge.
street
But every
fridges.
night we used to do like 50 to 60 biryanis if they are not yet sold.
The street fridges. I think there was one that was set up in Sikandar.
Yeah, they set up, but it didn't go.
Didn't
Even for
know for-
weddings, there's a startup that does it. Even for weddings and events, there's a startup which does that. They collect food at the end of
Okay.
whatever is left out.
Okay. Yeah, there were 2 or 3 food waste startups that were there.
How do they make money?
It's a non-profit, so
It's
they
an NGO.
approach.
It was a
the-
social enterprise.
Yeah.
But how do they make money?
CSR
They-
funds primarily. If the
Yeah, primarily CSR fund and donations.
yeah.
Okay. You've
So
been very
what is your
quiet.
thing, sir? What do you think we should do to thrive the local communities?
I actually, one of the things that we should probably be doing is obviously get the support of the government and push them a little bit towards putting in some laws that are going to, because if we do it now, in about a year, 2 years, if we're able to push it through, because if it happens from the government, the scale is huge. We have been with the non-profit called India Literacy Project now for more than almost 25 years. And the idea is to make India 100% literate. And we have finally, the last 3-4 years, we are making a huge difference in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Telangana, portion of Telangana. After 25 years. Right? Whereas the government of Kerala, in late 80s or early 90s, they said literacy for all. And within a span of a few years, 100% literate. And once they made it 100% literate, the every human development indicator in Kerala went up. Your lifespan, our lifespan used to be 58 or something at that time. Average lifespan of an Indian was 58. When we got independence, it was about 36 or 37 or something, if I remember my numbers right. By the time we came to the 1990s, the lifespan increased to 58, average, right? In Kerala, it went to 72. It was on par with Europe, all the economically developed nations. It was at 72. Maternal mortality rate, mothers giving birth to a child and having to go through being a very risky thing too. It's not risky at all. It's dropped. Infant mortality rate dropped. Hunger index dropped. Lots of different things dropped. I mean, improved as soon as they went 100% lifted. So the government, that's why if you go and do something, they can do it at scale. So one is that. The second one is, it's up to us as a community to come forward. One of the things that I've started telling people recently, because somebody declared it and I felt absolutely right, is all you young people that are here, our generation and the ones before us failed you. Right? the reality, the truth is we failed you. In the sense that we are not leaving a world for you that is sustainable and that is something that is good in a lot of different ways, not just sustainability climate wise, but even in terms of the kind of leaders that we elect, the kind of progress that we should have made over the past 20, 30 years. We are doing well, but we could have done so much better. And we are only doing well despite the situation rather than because of any interventions. So now the responsibility is on you to take things from where we are, where things are, and then somehow improve them, which means that collective action needs to come from you. And I'm not going to use any movie dialogues, youth are great, youth are this, youth are that. That's directors trying to make money out of young people, right? So what can we do is, in my view, all the questions, my job right now I feel is, can I pose some questions for you to think about and actually make you think about things. And if by chance we can motivate you a little bit to take action, rather than just keep an idea in your mind and not do anything about it, would it not be better?
Sir, do you think like diesel, plastic are biggest regrets of your generation? Without that,
No,
there is
actually,
no development.
electronics is, I think, bigger.
Because regret. Diesel, but development is because of diesel, plastic, and everything. No, sir?
No,
The
you're talking
development
about
which your
petroleum.
generation
You're,
gave.
you're talking about the petroleum products and everything.
Yes.
Because plastic, as far as I remember, hopefully my chemical engineering background is not that bad. We are producing it from the,
But iron, plastic, the development is because of them. So why regret for that?
no, there is. I'll give you an answer slightly different. I'm actually going over time. This is unfair for me to go beyond 11:20, but sorry, 5:20. But because you're asking one last minute, sorry, I'll give you a different way of answering, or rather, I'll answer you slightly different. Yes, you can do. You've heard of Mr. M.S. Swaminathan?
I don't remember, but I know.
M.S. Swaminathan is the one who recently was awarded posthumously a Bharat Ratna. He is known as the person who brought about the Green Revolution for India. Right? So we were in a very difficult situation in India when I was very young, where there was not enough food, but the population was growing. And he brought in agricultural practices and other things that that helped us survive and actually become a net producer rather than a net consumer, right? But if you look at what he has done, if you start talking to people, you're going to find out that what he did at that time was appropriate. But if you look back at what he did, it would not. If you know what you know now, you would not have done that, right? There were a lot of pesticides that were used. There were a lot of fertilizers that were used. And now we know that that's not such a good idea because soil has decomposed and a lot of other things happen. So similarly, if you knew that what would be better, I mean that iron, steel, diesel, plastic and all of that. Plastic is something that to a large extent it's not because of what we did. I mean it is necessary. You can't throw away plastic and say, hey, I don't want plastic. Plastic has so many uses that you're only looking at the plastic bags and trash and so on. And second, it's also about our personal use. If I am not responsible, it doesn't matter what anybody says, right? No matter what, it's not plastic. It's kind of like the NRA. I might be saying it from that perspective. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. That's unfair. But on plastic bags, other things, we have started doing. Right? So I don't want to go with what about that? There are hundreds of examples. The most recent one I'll tell you, about 30 years ago in Egypt, there was somebody who decided to go back and use design practices which are old and that was sustainable. And the buildings that were built were actually cool without air conditioning. In Egypt, where the temperatures are 45 or 48 or whatever, and you could stay inside the building and it would actually be bearable with no fans, no air conditioners, nothing like that. But they decided to not use that and they went off in a different direction. So we are going in a different direction. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, I'll stop now.